Hey everybody, so in this video I'm going to go over just a handful of techniques that I like to use for decorating my junk journal pages. And this is not like an exhaustive list of things that you can do. This is just something small that you can probably do at home today even, just to get started. So I'm just going to flip through a few pages here, figure out which ones I want to embellish, and as I get to the actual decorating and embellishing, I will jump back on and talk to you about what I am doing. First, I'm going to gather up a few basic supplies, like different papers that I feel like are going to complement the cover of the journal. And these will become things like tuck spots and pockets. I'm also going to go ahead and grab some washi tape that I feel also corresponds to the rest of the journal. Washi tape is a really quick and easy way to add detail and interest to your journals, and there's not really any wrong way to use washi. One thing I really love about it is, unless you're stitching it down, you can just remove it if you don't like it, so I highly recommend using washi to decorate your journals with. So right away on the first page here, I know I want to add a pocket, and I'm going to be creating my pocket with some of this scrapbook paper that I have. So just kind of holding it in place and eyeballing it, and I'm just going to cut it by hand. And on top of that, what I'm going to do is add even more texture and interest by using some of this brown like gummed packing tape that I have. So I just tear a little piece off, fold it in half, and like kind of fit it right onto the edge of the pocket there. And I'm going to hold it in place with a little bit of washi, and then I believe I run it through the sewing machine. And this just creates like a really nice layered look and adds a lot of texture and visual interest. As you can see here, this page that I'm stitching the pocket to the front of also has like a side tuck. So when you have pages like that, just be mindful of where you're sewing and just make sure that you're not going to stitch something closed that you prefer to be open. That's something that I've done plenty of times, and it doesn't actually end up being that big of a deal because you can kind of always just pretend like that's how you wanted it to be in the first place. But just be mindful of what the other side of your page looks like when you are using your sewing machine on your pages. On this page here, I am using a little bit of this butterfly washi to kind of keep this envelope together. And so what I'm going to do is get a nice long piece of my butterfly washi and line it up right here where it's sort of like detached from itself, and then I'm going to run that through my sewing machine with a zigzag stitch. Now I'm going to bring in some textiles to decorate the pages with. So when I'm choosing my textiles, I like to pick a variety of patterns mostly, and a variety of texture. So you're going to see something that I'm going to do right now using the lace, and part of that feed sack quilt is I'm going to kind of layer them on top of one another with the lace underneath the feed sack. So if you had anything lightweight, like maybe a really nice lightweight cotton with something a little more textural on top of that, like it's a really nice pairing. So just play around with different pairings. Oh, this is important. You can see the way I'm folding this. I'm sort of just ruffling it manually, and I'm actually going to hold that in place over the top of the lace and stitch both of them directly to the paper. So with this lace, I'm just folding it right in half, but just look for different patterns and different textures and pair things together that might be unexpected, and I think your journals will really stand out that way. So this is basically my super quick and easy way to decorate with washi, and I like to kind of just choose a corner and run the washi across it at a diagonal and let it sort of go over the edges a little bit so that you can fold them over. And sometimes I'll do it with just one type of washi. On this page I am choosing 2 different washi tapes, and just kind of repeating the process with the second tape. This page here is just gonna get a lace ruffle at the top of that sheet music there. So I'm pretty sure I have a video on ruffles somewhere around here, so you can find that if you need to see how it's done. But yeah, just a simple ruffle at the top of this page. This page here is getting a upper corner tuck using some scrapbook paper, and I'm just going to go through right now and ink up the edges. Also, to add a little bit more texture and dimension, I'm going to use my diagonal washi tape trick directly on the paper that's going to become the pocket. Here I'm just using my crocodile to make a small hole in the corner there. And I'm doing this so I can use a garment pin to hang a handmade paper tag off of the pocket, just to add even more dimension and a little bit of, like, you know, a little interactive quality to the journal. This page here is getting a little bit of a scrap paper collage, and I did use some washi there to hold the pocket in place while I am working with the collage. And I'm just using scrap papers that I have available on my desk, and I think this one's just like this. This is like a Tim Holtz wallpaper, not real wallpaper. And I do ink up the edge because I didn't really like that stark white edge that happened when I tore it. So I ink that up and then paste it down on top of the pocket there. And I do believe I go through my stamps and find a cute little stamp to put on top of it. This page is also getting a paper collage using just various scraps that I have laying around my desk. So I was thinking what I can tell you about paper collage, and I think the maybe 2 or 3 biggest things I can tell you is, number one, when you're doing your collage, just play around with the papers first, like on your page, you know. Move the things around a little bit, try arranging them in different ways until you find something that you find aesthetically pleasing. And then once, you know, everything looks good, then you can go ahead and glue it down. Another thing is keep a variety of texture and color and pattern in mind. And then the last one is layering. So just play around with the way that you're layering your papers, and then you'll find something that fits for you. You know, you'll definitely find your groove as long as you practice. So for this next part, I know I want to do a ribbon, like a ruffled ribbon on the page. But that magazine page that I want to do it on is very thin. So instead of stitching the ribbon directly to the page, I'm stitching it on top of a little scrap of my gummed packing tape that I have. And then once the ribbon is stitched onto that, I'm going to adhere all of that to the page. So it gives you the same effect, but without ruining your page. I'm just going to do one final flip through so we can just sort of go back and take a second look at all the decorating and embellishing that we did in this journal. So I hope you guys find these tips and techniques helpful. I hope you practice them in your journals. And also I really hope that these ideas lead you to come up with your own ideas. So the more you make, the more the ideas are just going to come to you. So have fun making, guys, and I hope you guys all have a good night.